And he's very serious. Don't record this.
There's one in the back coming.
Go.
In there. Okay. My God, I don't get adrenaline like this. Yep. For your first buffalo, we'll take him. Is that a good one? Yeah. My name is Blaine, a painter. I just finished my very first Cape buffalo hunt, a bucket list item of 30 years, and here are the lessons that I learned. So your first time hunting Cape buffalo will probably be a lot like my first time hunting Cape buffalo. And while I am far from an expert, a lot of times it's helpful when somebody does it the very first time. I still have all those beginner newbie questions in my head that we all have. One way to think of Cape buffalo hunting is to break it up into 4 steps. Your first step is the preparation phase, where you're preparing yourself and your rifle to be able to make a shot under the type of conditions you're going to shoot, to be able to walk far enough and be a reliable enough shot to be successful. That's preparation. The second phase is finding the buffalo. That'll be mainly on your guide or professional hunter. They will find a place. They'll have permission to hunt on a certain concession or whatever area it is, and you'll go and you'll try to spot them. When you find them, then you stalk them. That's the third step. The third step is stalking them. You have to get close enough for a shot without spooking them, because even though they're very dangerous, like most animals, they just soon run away. And so you have to come out of concealment. You have to be quiet. Don't wear clothing that's noisy. The cotton safari clothing works extremely well in this particular climate. The fourth one is the shot itself. Be prepared to make a very well-placed first shot, and then be ready to follow up. It's not a rapid follow-up, it's one well-placed shot, see what happens, cycle the action, get ready to shoot. And at least that was my experience. So I think those are the 4 primary steps of a Cape buffalo hunt. This is part of preparation. Clothing and equipment is part of preparation. And I just bought stuff from Amazon and tried it on to see what worked. I first tried the tactical pants, because they're all over the place. They're noisy. When you walk in those, they go swish, swish, swish. Well, that's not optimum. And I tried some jean-style pants that didn't work. Finally, I said, you know, the clothes that I bought were made by a company called Tag Safari. I think they're made in South Africa, but they're sold in the States. And I bought those. They're a very lightweight but durable cotton. They are quiet and comfortable. I'm probably the most comfortable person here because my clothes just fit this environment and this type of hunting. The first thing that, and I think anybody of any experience will agree with, is you get an appropriate rifle and an appropriate cartridge. .375 is a legal minimum for most of these countries for Cape buffalo, and that's something, the recoil on that is not bad at all. A .416 is a little step up in recoil, but it's very effective on buffalo. The .458s, I know they work well, and the .470s, all of that, but my experience has been with the .416. That was from years of research on this. But get a rifle and get it early. I mean, a year or 2 out is not too soon. Get the rifle, make sure it fits you, because there's a big difference. Make sure you learn how to handle recoil. You don't hunch over into the gun ever, as Luke discovered one day when I let him shoot the .416. You let it push you. And there's, you don't find as much of this as you'd like on the internet, but you can contact Unknown Munitions and email me, and I will tell you how I got used to recoil over the years, because I wanted to shoot big guns. But get a gun, get very, very comfortable with it, do the research on the bullets. And if you're not a hand loader, then you're gonna buy some factory ammo. You don't need that much accuracy. My gun would shoot around 1 inch off the bench. That's more than double what you need. But Make sure that you're comfortable shooting it, and then once you've got the load, don't just shoot it from a bench. Shoot it from shooting sticks a lot, because that's where you're going to be shooting it. Shot it off. That is the problem with this gun. I just shot the gong off. And practice a little bit offhand, because I had both. I had one off the sticks, maybe two, and then two offhand shots on the buffalo. And it's different. Shooting off shooting sticks is not like leaning up against a tree. Your stance is a little bit different. Anyway, you need to figure all of that out. Make sure that you're not the weak link when it comes to shooting. Make sure that you are trained so that you do the right thing when you're under stress. I'm about to fulfill a stereotype. I was a pilot in the Air Force for 24 years. They put us in artificially stressful situations and made us do and say things, reciting emergency procedures, to get used to being uncomfortable and nervous and doing the right thing. That's important on this type of hunt. And yeah, most of the time, you're going to shoot a Cape buffalo, it's going to go off and die. But realize these animals kill people every year, so make sure. And so that's part of preparation. The other part is a whole debate between push feed actions, control round feed actions. I know that there's a very famous African hunter named Kevin Robertson, and in his mind, for a professional hunter, only a control round feed action is appropriate. And he has stories to back that up. And the actions that are control round feed are like the Mauser 98 action, the CZ, the Winchester Model 70, the Ruger Mark II. There's probably some others. They have a big claw extractor. They're very reliable. The big advantage of control round feed is that from the time that the round is stripped from the magazine, it slides up under the extractor and is held close to the bolt face, so that if you get in a panic and you push the bolt most of the way forward with the barrel pointed down and pull it back again with control round feed, you just push the bullet back and forth and you close the bolt and you're good. With a push feed, what everybody's concerned about, it doesn't happen very often. A push feed does not have any control. The control of the round in the push feed is only when the magazine rails or magazine lips hold the round. As you push it forward, it's controlled for a little bit, then it releases. If you've got the gun pointed muzzle down and it releases, that round can slide into the chamber. And if you're not paying attention, you pull the bolt handle back, you can pick up another cartridge, and then you jam it forward, and you have just disabled your gun until you get a cleaning rod and push the rod out of the chamber.
So you're just like this.
Then we got a rod.
Then your eye will pick it up. Okay. You'll see a little splash right behind that.
I'm saying this won't happen with controlled round feed.
Now, all of that can be overcome by proficiency with it, that along with practice shooting, practice working your action. I worked the action probably 5 or 10 times as much as I shot. I made some dummy rounds at home and I just worked it back and forth to smooth it up, to get comfortable. And even Luke noticed when he watched me, he goes, "Man, you really handle that well." And yeah, it's very fast and it's a full stroke on the bolt. Here's where I like to pull them out at the range instead of running them. You just mess up the necks. No big deal, they'll size out, but. So that's very important that you do. That works the push feed too, but control round feed's a little bit better, I suppose, for that. But really, if you've got a Sacco or a Remington in a 375 or a 416, just get proficient with it. Make sure you don't have hot loads, and you'll be fine. This is a Winchester Model 70 in 416 Remington Magnum. A Trigicon 1x6x24 scope in Unknown Munitions Premier Rings. Cerakoted by Unknown Munitions, and then I bedded it in a McMillan Super Grade stock. Shoots this round. 400 grain Swift A-frame, 2,430 feet per second. The objective is Cape Buffalo next week. If you panic when you're under stress and are not able to work through that, and I don't think there's a lot of people that fit that category, but if you can't work through that, then you've got no business hunting dangerous game, because a lot of people's lives depend on you making the good shot. Realize most of the time with anything, it's one well-placed shot and you're done. You know, there's no danger. but that's not something that you want to risk. So if you're overly excitable,
That's the one I'm looking at.
if you're prone to getting buck fever and you can't control it, then yeah, maybe Cape Buffalo. Maybe you're not ready for Cape Buffalo. Maybe you should work on that. And there's ways you can. There's training you can do. There's mental approaches you can take to put yourself in the right mindset so this is not a big deal. And it shouldn't be in terms of doing the right thing when you're under stress. Spotting Cape Buffalo is interesting. The way that we did it on this hunt was being up on a little rise looking out into a semi-open plain and seeing them. Of course, that's not the only way you spot them. Sometimes you work through the woods or the bush. They call it the bush here. You could just work through the area just like you're still hunting black-tailed deer or white-tailed deer in heavy cover. And that's another way that you spot. That's kind of how we spotted the first herd. And it's amazing how big they are. You see this big black shape. That's kind of a fun way to find them as well. So, I mean, yeah, just like you would spot deer and elk, you spot Cape Buffalo the same way. So the stalk of these animals is interesting because of the type of vegetation that's around here. If you've hunted in South Texas or Arizona, you're familiar with it, but I think it's a little more dense here. They have these bushes, they call them wait a minute bushes. They also have the acacia trees. The acacia trees look worse because they got big long thorns, but they're not a problem. The wait a minute bushes are these small scraggly bushes, and man, they're flexible, and you know, if they catch your clothes, you have to stop and pick them out. If you're not wearing clothes, I don't know if you can see, both of my arms are scratched up from when I had my sleeves rolled up and walking by stuff. And so that is something, it's heavy cover here. When we think of Africa, at least for me, I expected wide open plains and big herds of zebra and impala and gazelle and lions chasing. I mean, yeah, that's in the Serengeti. That's not here in South Africa. This is tight in heavy cover. Your shots are going to be through cover, in more cover than we're comfortable shooting through in North America. Hit him straight on the shoulder. And we don't worry as much about stepping on twigs and snapping them like we do in North America when we're going after some of those animals. But still, moving quietly is important. The big thing they're concerned about, they get everybody lined up in a line, and the rule is you can never be taller than your guide. If he bends over and hunches down, so do you, because we're trying to minimize our visual profile. And that's one of the fun things about Cape Buffalo. And this is very much part of the stalk. They don't have any weak points. They'll talk about an elephant can't see very well. The cats, the big lions don't hear very well. Well, Cape Buffalo can hear well, see well, and smell well. They have the whole package. And so everything has to be right. You can't be noisy. You definitely need to be downwind from them, as we saw here, that just one whiff from 100 yards away and they're gone. And you hunch over for low profile, and you don't want to have 4 people lined up. You want to have just see a single person in front is the idea. So then the behavior of Cape Buffalo, and this is my perspective, I don't know if it's right. Maybe experienced hunters, buffalo hunters would laugh at me, but it seemed to me there was a lead cow. Kind of like with elk. Not sure of that, but they seem to be the ones to see you first. The bulls seem to be in the back if they're in a herd. There's also lone bulls out there, which is what we would have gone looking for had we not found the herd. You don't always find an old bull with a herd like we did, but what they're going to do is they're going to stop and turn and stare at you. And as we move closer, we get their attention more and more. And if you're still, and we got to the right distance to get set up for the shot, and I guess they decided we weren't that big of a threat, and they started moving off, but the one bull, there's always a bull, if there's a bull in the herd, that'll stop and stand the ground as a sentinel to make sure that nothing is going to happen to him. And that's how we got this particular bull. Well, it depends. Shot placement on the buffalo, there's a lot of books on this. From a broadside shot, around 1/3 up the body, you divide the body into 3s. and it's very far forward. I mean, it's right on the point of the shoulder, and you can see it on a buffalo. It's hard to see in some of the pictures, but you're out there looking at it, you can see where the point of the shoulder is.
It's a lot of blood vessels, upper part of the heart, upper part of the lungs. So it's from the front, because they look at you. You don't really shoot them in the chest. You rather shoot them mid-body, below the nose.
Okay, so it's mid-body
Frontal. From the side,
lower third.
Lower third.
Okay.
You go straight up the front legs. You take that front leg, you go straight up with that. And then if you divide the body in three, like a photographer, upper third, middle third, lower third.
So lower third's about here.
Yes. You can actually see on a buffalo, you'll see the point where the scapula and the humerus comes together. Makes it. You can see on the cows as well. You can see it makes a knob, a shoulder. So that's a good height reference. Okay. If it's in the shade, you won't see that. Okay. But I mean, you've got a lot of. We just don't want to be in the upper third. If you whack it on the front shoulder, mid body, you're going down. Okay. If it goes down, front legs first, meaning like a car losing its chassis, like front leg going to the ground. You keep on shooting that bull. Okay. If he falls like like a sack, like kind of, when you spine a deer, kind of whiplash fall. If they fall like that, he's down. That's central nervous system. If he falls just like this, he dives head first like a toddler into the ground. You just keep on shooting that bull, because the chances of him getting up is good. All right. So you just keep on. You put one in him and you put another one in him. All right. But that's about it.
Okay.
Okay. Perfect.
Yep. That was the first shot there.
Now there's your problem. You ain't got no gas in it.
Yeah, I thought I hit him further back. Of course, that's a good spot, isn't it?
That's fine. Like,
that's where I...
That's a bullet. You feel that?
So did it come from the other?
I think when you put the anchoring one in him.
Oh, yeah.
That's what you want, my man. See that?
Yeah.
They don't do that when they're young.
Yeah, it's nice and hard.
Yeah. Congratulations.
So this was the first shot, right?
Yes. And you can see that's what we're looking for. You can see it's not sharp, it's broomed off, and it's like kind of the height of the boss already. So perfect bull. Perfect bull. And you can see with age they start losing their hair on their nose and everything. So, and you can see he's not in the best condition in the world. He's not, like I said, he's not old, but he's...
So a good bull, you want an older, mature bull. You don't want a bull that's young and of prime breeding age. And what you look for is the bosses. That's the area between where the horns join on top of the head. You'll see a big gap in that area on the cows, and the younger bulls, that area has not hardened yet. And I'm not really good at seeing what's a hardened boss is. I mean, I can tell when I'm up close, but the pH can pick it out from a long ways away. But you want hard bosses and hopefully a tight gap. And my bull had that. I think Neil told me the bull was probably about 9 years old, which is probably about as young as you want to shoot one of them. 10, 11 is probably more the desired age, but that's what you look for. And don't get wrapped around the width of the bull. I think mine measured 35 inches. That's an average bull, but he was a mature bull, and he had the scars from fighting, maybe down a little bit in weight from this, and from fighting and moving and stuff. And it's the old bulls that we're looking for, and those are the ones that can get really aggressive too. Is the old bulls. They'll stand their ground. And yes, everybody wants to shoot a 40-inch Cape buffalo, and that's just the measurement from the outside of the horns on each side. And yes, that's nice. And maybe next time that's what I'll look for, a little bit bigger one. But really, any mature bull of a Cape buffalo is a trophy. They've all fought the same thing, the same type of fights. They're just past their prime. When they get old enough, they'll separate from the herd, and they call them doggaboys, and they'll be out by themselves. And so we were prepared to look for that too, if we had to. If we had not found the herd, we would have started going around looking for buffalo tracks. They call it spoor here. and then to figure out what size buffalo it was, and then if we should go after and track them and trying to find them. So I hope this video will be useful to you for your first time. Once again, I am not an expert. I'm just trying to give my own personal impressions, what I saw for something I've wanted to do for a long time. If you want to check out the actual video, it will be posted on Shoot to Hunt. If you want to know about building a rifle, you can contact Unknown Munitions, and we can step you through all of that. Thanks for watching.